Bridging the Gap by Gap Agnew. The purpose of this presentation is to discuss bridging the gap within the adoption of technology. This presentation will also focus on how this can be related to crisis teaching. When it comes to the adoption of new technologies, there are 5 different groups of adopters. The first group of adopters are the innovators. They are willing to experience new ideas, but they may not be respected by their other members of their social system. The next group are the early adopters. This group play a central role at virtually every stage of the innovation process, from the initiation to the implementation, particularly in deploying the resources that carry innovation forward. Their attitudes towards the new innovation are the most important, and they are more likely to hold the leadership roles in the social systems. The next group are the early majority. They adopt the innovation just before the other half of their peers adopt it. They usually have a good interaction with other members of the social system, and they do not have the leadership roles that the early adopters have. The next group are the late majority. This includes 1/3 of all the members of the social system who wait until most of their peers have adopted the new innovation. The final group are the laggards. This group usually decides to adopt the innovation once they have seen that the innovation works, and they are usually more skeptical about the innovation and the new changes. Knowing that new innovations can be complex, it's very important that the innovators, early adapters, and the early majority take the lead and uncover all steps before presenting to the late majority and the laggards. Some of the things that the innovators, early adopters, and the early majority can do are they allow the new innovations to be brought. They lead the new innovations. They are usually the first to use or test the new technology. They evaluate the strengths and weaknesses of the new adoption. They introduce the innovation to the late majority and the laggards. And with that being said, there definitely should be an effort to working with the late majority and the laggards when this process is begun. A Bible verse that can relate to this topic is that, therefore, if anyone in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, and the new is here. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Many times the innovators, the early adopters, and the early majority are the ones who are the first to bring in this new creation, and they are trying to bring in new change. So they are the ones who are introducing this new technology or new change to the rest of the social systems. The late majority and the laggards, they are the groups who usually are most skeptical and not really necessarily ready for change, but they are the acceptors of this new change or this new technology. This group is not necessarily uneducated about the new adoption, but they may not have the proper training or be prepared for this new adoption. Some of the things that they could do that may help would be observe the innovators, early adopters, and the early majority. There should also be an inclusive approach. Also, team teaching or coaching opportunities with the innovators, early adopters, and the early majority. And one Bible verse that can tie in with this, the late majority and the laggards, would be, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you, and not as the world gives do I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." John 14:27. And like I said before, this doesn't necessarily mean that they are uneducated about the new adoption, but they just might be skeptical because they feel as if they are untrained or unprepared to take on this new adoption. When we are leading new adoptions, we must remember to keep God first. The Bible states that God will never leave us nor forsake us, and we must remember this when it comes to new adoptions, and we must continue to work as one, as a whole, whether that's the innovators, the early adapters, the early majority, the late majority, or the laggards. We must all work as one, and this Bible verse ties in with that. So in Christ, we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. Romans 12:5. And that just means that the whole social system has to work together in order for the new adoption to come in and be successful. And then these are my resources that I use for this presentation.